the desire for children is natural and good, and the cross of infertility is very, very heavy. So if we say to someone, IVF is always wrong, not just these crazy news story cases, but even for that loving married couple, people can feel like you're stabbing them in the heart. How dare you deny me, the ability to have a child like most other people can have. And so I think it's important, before kind of going into the intellectual perspective of why one ought to be morally objecting to IVF, we need to speak to the importance of compassion for those who struggle with infertility, as well as having deep respect for those conceived by IVF. Because not only can objecting to IVF cause someone who struggles with infertility to feel hurt, but objecting to IVF can cause someone who was conceived that way to call into question their very value, their very existence, or even if they're willed by God. And so before I talk about the ethical concerns about IVF, I just want to address those two really fundamental points that I encourage you to always address as you engage on this issue with others. And then as we move into looking at why, by its very nature, IVF ought to be rejected, I then want to contrast it with a very important, bright, beautiful alternative, which is restorative reproductive medicine. Because when one says no to one approach to be fruitful and multiply, then it can make people feel hopeless, like there's no way to achieve that first command that God gave us. But there are alternatives to IVF, some that are very effective, and in some cases have shown to be even more effective than IVF.